Hey y'all, it's Carina and welcome back to another field placement vlog. As you know, I am from Dallas, and so I wanted to cover some of the things that are going on in my neck of the woods, in my sports. And so yeah, I wanted to cover Dak Prescott, who is the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. As you may know, he's been going through a lot this year, so I wanted to analyze his current situation with some of the things that I'm learning in class and some of the things that I'm learning through my field placement at the Alliance for Social Workers in Sports. So before the first game of the 2020 NFL season, Dak actually opened up about some of the things that he had been struggling with during quarantine and during the off season. He said that he was experiencing feelings that he had never experienced before. That includes anxiety, depression, and insomnia, all while grieving his brother who he had just lost by suicide earlier that year. So like I said, he was already going through a lot before he just recently had a pretty bad injury, Game 5 during the Giants, a pretty bad ankle fracture and dislocation. And of course, he's not playing the rest of the season. And like I've said in previous vlogs, as an athlete, this is a big part of your life, big part of your image, and so it's been a rough time for him. He seems to be taking it pretty well. He put on Instagram, of course, that he is thankful for all the support and that he plans to be back better than ever. But this has just been on my mind a lot, not only as a Dallas native, but just knowing how much he loves the sport and just the rough year that it's been for everyone with the pandemic, and then especially for him with his family's loss of his brother. And so I wanted to analyze his current situation through a theory that we were just learning in class, and that is humanistic theory, which suggests that higher needs cannot emerge until lower needs have been satisfied. And so humanistic theory focuses more on helping the individual as a whole rather than treating a specific diagnosis. So I wanted to just, play around a little bit and act as if Dak were my client, and what I would do for an athlete like Dak, and just dabble our thoughts around what a social worker could do for a program like the Dallas Cowboys. So like I said, if Dak were my client, I'd want to do this and connect with him through active listening, meaning that I'll be listening carefully and intently to every word that he's saying, and make sure that I'm fully understanding his feelings and asking questions after that. So it wouldn't be more of a questionnaire type thing, it would be more of a listening to what he's feeling in his current situation and absorbing it all in, and then making conversation after that. So first off, I'd want to look at his lower needs, his personal security, his employment, his health. What does he feel about that? Does he feel that his employment is, on the rocks? Does he feel like he doesn't have that job security that he used to have? Of course, we know that there's contracts and things like that, but what does he feel about maybe not playing football? What does he feel about this injury and what it can do for his career? He is a young player, so that is something that we could take into account. After we assess those, we could look at his higher needs, being able to properly grieve his brother. As a social worker, a sports social worker in a program as big as the Dallas Cowboys, you could really offer family grief counseling, things that would help out the family and help out Dak. So by covering all of his lower needs, like his personal security, employment, health, we could look at the things that are emerging through that. So grieving his brother, esteem, and self-actualization. So like I said, this is a really helpful theory. I think it's really personable. It's like your client is, your friend almost. You want to establish that rapport and be able to understand what they're feeling from literally the bottom up of the pyramid, as you can say. So yeah, I really just want to look at this through the things that I'm learning in class. Like I said, I think this theory is really helpful. It's been really helpful whenever I'm looking at my case studies and stuff. There's so many things that sports social workers can do. I mean, I say that every week, but we could really help athletes like Dak establish their base needs and reassure them that they can be met. We can look at these needs, look at these concerns that they have, in order for these higher needs to emerge and be satisfied, like anyone should, in order to focus and give proper attention to those higher needs, like grieving his brother, like his esteem, self-esteem. not only to make him a better player, but just to make him a better, well-functioning and healthy person that, you know, can deal with these mental struggles like he's talked of before and learn how to cope with them healthily. And we would want that for anyone, not just athletes, but everyone. And so, yeah, this was a just fun little theoretical thing that I wanted to share with you guys. I hope to see Dak recover soon. I'm sure that he's getting all the help that he needs. Have a good weekend. Go Cowboys and Roll Tide.